Have you ever noticed how certain times of the day affect your thoughts and feelings? Like there are some afternoons where, out of nowhere, a wave of sadness washes over you. Let me tell you, it's because midnight carries a profound significance that most people don't realize. As the clock strikes 12, something extraordinary happens within our psyche, and if you're brave enough to confront it, it can change your life forever. Ready? Here's what happens to your mind when you face midnight, or early mornings where motivation seems to strike like lightning. Well, there's a specific time that holds a unique power, a time that can either terrify or liberate you. You might find yourself reliving moments you thought you'd long forgotten. Some memories bring comfort, others pain, but all of them are part of the rich tapestry of your existence. Can you guess what time it is? Pause the video here if you want to make a guess. You begin to realize that you are not your thought. You are not your emotions. You are the observer of these experiences. This newfound clarity is the essence of ego death. At midnight, your ego, your false self, the part that relies on external validation and seeks constant distraction, it weakens, and in its place, a deeper, more authentic you emerges. You start to understand that true freedom lies in surrendering to the present moment, embracing the stillness and allowing your true self to shine through. Are you ready to experience this profound transformation? To surrender to the power of midnight and unlock the secrets of your true self? Don't wait another moment. Embrace the darkness and let the journey begin. If you guessed midnight, you're right. But why should a mere 12 o'clock on the clock send chills down your spine? First, your senses retreat. Sounds fade into the background. Thoughts drift to the surface. Your internal world becomes the only reality. It's like being in a pod, cut off from the noise, left alone with your breath and your beating heart. Then, memories resurface. Images from your past, both joyful and painful, come flooding back. Next, emotions surge. Feelings you've buried deep within you, whether it's anger, fear, sadness, or longing, suddenly bubble up. You might find yourself questioning your decisions, wondering if you're on the right path. It's as if the silence of the night amplifies your insecurities, making them seem larger than life. Midnight has a way of bringing what's hidden to the surface. It's as if the night itself is a mirror reflecting your soul's deepest depths. And then, self-doubt whispers. Your inner critic becomes your loudest voice. But here's the transformative part. As you sit with these thoughts and feelings, something remarkable occurs. Do you ever feel like the ground beneath you is shaking? Like the very foundations of your life are shifting, and you are not sure why or how to stop it? What if I told you that beneath the chaos, there's an opportunity for rebirth? A chance to build a life that's not just stable but truly fulfilling. Welcome to the show. I'm your host. Today we're re-diving into something that most people experience but few understand. The unsettling journey of watching your ego fall apart. So stay tuned for the next part where we'll explore how to walk through the door of ego death without collapsing. We'll discuss the practices, the mindsets, and the habits that can guide you through this intense process and lead you to a life where genuine freedom replaces fear. Remember, this unsettling journey is not the end, but a beginning of a life that's truly yours, free from the shackles of a crumbling ego. You see, our ego is like a house of cards. Don't miss out on the next part of this transformative series, because here at Dark Horizons, we believe that the journey inward is the journey to your true self. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care. Carefully constructed, story by story, until one day the wind of truth blows through and everything comes crashing down. Why did I let people treat me that way? Why did I silence parts of myself to fit in? Here's the paradox. This painful questioning is actually the doorway to rebirth, because amidst the panic, there emerges a new sensation. Peace. Not the superficial peace of avoidance or denial, but a profound inner calm. It's the realization that you are still here. Not your achievements, not your accolades, not the approval of others, but simply you, breathing, alive, enough. When that happens, a terrifying silence fills the void, and in that quiet, you face the unsettling truth about yourself and your life. The panic sets in. Your mind desperately clings to old stories. I'm successful. I'm admired. People respect me. I've worked too hard to fall apart. But deep down, these are just stories. That's the brutal beauty of ego death. It strips away everything fake, leaving you raw and vulnerable. Psychologists call this the ego dissolution phase, where your sense of self feels unstable. You question everything. Why did I chase these goals? In this phase, you start to feel detached from what once controlled you. Clarity replaces confusion, and you see the illusions that once seemed so real. Freedom from expectations you didn't even know you were carrying. It's unsettling, yes, because your ego is dying, but it's also liberating because your truth is rising. This is the essence of ego death, a descent into the depths of your being, where you confront the decaying parts of yourself and emerge transformed. It's not easy, but with the right mindset and tools, you can navigate this journey. And if you're ready to dive deeper into this journey, hit that subscribe button. Welcome to Dark Horizons. Before we dive deeper into the heart of this video, I want to ask you something. Do you feel like the person you're supposed to be, or do you feel like you're reliving someone else's life? If you relate to this question, stick around. Imagine the ego as an old house. It's weathered many storms, patched with layers of coping mechanisms and defense structures. When ego death begins, it's like an earthquake hits, shaking the very foundation of this house. After the storm, after the earthquake, after the ego's death throes, there's a beautiful emergence. There's a new clarity, a sense of alignment with something bigger than yourself. You start to shed the layers of conditioning, of societal expectations, of inherited family roles. You shed the skin of who you were and you start to reveal the being you were always meant to be. You become unshakable because you've anchored yourself to your core values, to your deepest truths. And this is just the beginning. The walls crack. The roof starts leaking. Suddenly, the familiar rooms of your identity feel strange and uncomfortable. This is the liminal space of ego death. Thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts. And remember, the greatest seers of our time are the ones who dared to look within. It's unsettling. The ego, in its death throes, will fight back. It will try to cling to familiar patterns, old ways of relating, outdated beliefs. That's because the ego, despite its flaws and the pain it's caused, has served a purpose. It's kept you safe. It's helped you navigate the world. It's allowed you to build a sense of self. So as it dies, it does so kicking and screaming, desperately trying to hold on. Ego death is a process, a shedding of the layers upon layers of identity we've accumulated, many of which are not truly ours, but have been absorbed along the way. It's not a comfortable process, hence the term death. But what comes after the death of the ego? What is the state of being once you've stripped away all the facades, all the roles, all the expectations? You might lash out, cry uncontrollably, withdraw into yourself. These aren't you at your worst. They are the ego desperately trying to survive. How do you navigate this phase? Through radical self-honesty, embracing the discomfort, committing to your values, detaching from external metrics, surrounding yourself with the uncomfortable and making micro-commitments to integrity. What comes next? To understand what comes after ego death, let's break it down into two parts. First, let's talk about what happens in the thick of ego dissolution. In this phase, you might find yourself regressed, acting in ways that don't feel like you. The second part of the journey is what emerges from the ashes of the old ego. Now go further. Dive deeper into the core of your being. Become the author of your own story. Your life is about to get real interesting. They say the loneliest place in the universe is the space between who you are and who you want to be. But what if I told you there's an even lonelier place? It's the space between who you were and who you're becoming after the death of your ego. That's right. It's not the journey down that's rarely talked about. People want to hear about the breakdowns, the breakthroughs, the messy, dramatic process of dismantling the false self. They cheer for the hero who burns it all down, but they don't want to hear about what happens next. What happens next is harder, lonely, more terrifying, and more beautiful than any explosion ever could be. Because once the ego collapses, once you drop the armor, once you stop screaming into the void for love, the world feels different. Not because it changed, because you did. Suddenly the air is thinner, the colors are brighter, the sounds are clearer. Your senses, dormant for so long, begin to open. You start to notice things you couldn't see before. Your eyes, once clouded by insecurity, now see clearly. Your ears, once attuned to criticism, now hear only what you want to hear. The voices that once tormented you fade into the background noise you can finally tune out. You feel lighter because you're no longer carrying the burden of approval. You feel whole because you're no longer chasing fractured pieces of love from people who care and love themselves. You feel present because you're no longer running on a hamster wheel of meaningless tasks and empty goals. This is what spiritual teachers call the second self, the version of you not forged by society, but by truth. No longer the child trying to impress broken parents, no longer the adult chasing goals to hide childhood wounds, no longer the performer addicted to applause. You are real. And that realness, my friend, is both terrifying and exhilarating. It's terrifying because it means you can no longer hide behind the mask. It's exhilarating because you can finally be free. So welcome to the wilderness of your true self. Here the air is thin, the path is unclear, but the view is limitless. You've risen. You've stepped into clarity, into calmness, into dangerous authenticity. But here is the next truth no one warns you about. Keeping your power is harder than claiming it, but you choose neutrality, not because you don't care, but because you won't waste your energy on what doesn't serve your higher purpose, because the world will test you. The people who once controlled you will sense the shift and try to pull you back. You rise early because it fuels your clarity. You move your body because it sharpens your mind. You study because growth is your addiction, not chaos. Old environments will tempt you to fall into familiar, destructive patterns. Your ego, though weakened, will whisper for attention, for validation, for comfort. If you're ready to dive deeper into reshaping your world, then the next chapter is your call to action. Go there now, and let's continue this journey together. This phase is not just about having power, it's about protecting it, guarding your energy like it's sacred because it is. Here's how to protect the new self you've rebuilt. 1. Mastering selective energy. Not everyone deserves access to you. You no longer allow energy vampires, manipulative personalities, or chronic victims into your space. Your presence is earned, not freely given. Learn to walk away faster, to disengage quicker, to cut ties without guilt, to neutralize the noise. The old world thrives on your reactivity. Algorithms want you outraged. People want you engaged in drama. Your ego wants you distracted. 3. Discipline becomes your freedom. Without your ego driving impulsive choices, you cultivate discipline in your habits, your mind, your body. It's where you realign, where you recenter, where you remind yourself of who you are without influence. You retreat not to escape, but to recharge. 4. Quietly build your empire. You no longer announce every win. You build in silence. You let your results speak for themselves. This kills your old craving for external validation and anchors you deeper into purpose-driven living. 5. Guard your solitude. Solitude is no longer a punishment. It's your source of power. It's living so aligned that nothing fake can survive in your orbit. And while it may look like distance to others, it's sovereignty. You finally realize, not everyone can follow you here, but those who can. They'll meet you in the silence, in the strength, in the freedom. This stage of your life isn't glamorous. It's quiet power. It's unshakable self-respect. Now, you've secured your personal power. The next frontier is securing your influence. There comes a point, often months or even years after the fall, where you catch a glimpse of yourself in a reflection, and you pause. Because you don't recognize the person staring back, and you smile. You attract people who value truth, who respect boundaries, who walk their own path. You no longer fear losing people. You fear losing your alignment, and that makes you untouchable. Goals become aligned and not performative. You don't set goals to look impressive. You set goals that expand your soul, your skills, your impact. Every move is intentional. Every action is powerful, because you love the stranger you've become. Gone is the desperation. Gone is the chaos. You are unshakable in your sense of self. You're done with small talk, small people, small dreams. You realize you are free. Free from the chains you didn't know were suffocating you. Free from the noise that once directed your choices. Free from the ego that once made you its prisoner. This is the highest evolution of self, unrecognizable to the old world. Completely at home in your own skin. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to explain anything. You just live fully, deeply, honestly. And those who said you changed, they were right. You shed every fake layer they knew. And what's left is raw truth, real power, sacred silence. Gone is the people-pleasing, the self-betrayal, the hidden resentment. Don't leave empty-handed. Comment below and share the moment when your ego began to fall. Who are you becoming? What version of you is being born? Like this video if you felt yourself reflected in it. Subscribe to Dark Horizons to continue walking this rare path of dangerous self-awareness and unstoppable clarity. Because once you've faced midnight, you never fear the dark again. You become it. Dark Horizons. We don't chase the light. We own the darkness. What remains is purity of intention, of action, of identity. You're not performing for anyone anymore. You don't chase approval. You don't explain your worth. You exist. Boldly, silently, dangerously honest with yourself and your life. It begins to reflect your internal shift. Relationships become deeper but fewer. You no longer tolerate superficial connections. You become immune to manipulation. You see through emotional games, corporate nonsense, social trends. If this journey hit your soul,